Hey there, I'm Kelly Sienkowski, Regional Editor with Potomac Local News, and I'm here with Coach Kahn of the University of Mary Washington men's basketball team, which is coming off a historic championship season and an incredible 30-3 finish. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. And wow, what a journey you guys have been on.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, what a season it was that to be able for it to finish the way that we did in the fashion in which we did was just so much fun.
When did you first start to realize that this team had the potential to go all the way? Was there a
Yeah,
defining moment when you thought,
yeah, there were really two. One was kind of early in the season where we're a young team, and so but we challenged ourselves. We went out to Pittsburgh for a tournament, the Great Lakes Invitational, and played two, which in most years are two of the better teams in the country and came out 2-0. So I knew that we were ready to compete against the best. That gave me the confidence, like, okay, we're on the right track this year, and I think we can be pretty good. And then also later in the year, maybe the most defining moment for me was we actually lost two games in a row. And so coming off of those two losses in the same week was how were we going to respond as a team and what would we do on our next game? And our next game was against Christopher Newport, which was one of those losses. And so I knew we were playing a really good team. And the way that we bounced back and competed against them told me that we had the resiliency, and the makeup to continue to make a big run. And I thought at that point, like, okay, we're going to be just fine. Yeah.
I mean, level, being talented at basketball is one thing, but I think the mental buy-in and the commitment is really everything that makes it a whole new level. What do you think helped this team commit to the same vision together and pull back, especially when you have two losses right after the other?
Yeah, I think their love for each other, the love for the team, the love for the game, like they were doing it, they were in it for the right reasons and really committed to not letting each other down. I think that was a really big part of this group. It was one of the more fun, probably the most fun team I've ever coached. And winning aside, like it's just a good group of guys. It was a lot of fun to be around. I think they enjoyed each other's company the whole time. A long season, guys can get it can get testy at times, but our group never did. We stayed pretty level-headed the whole time. We're in it for each other, and played, which means we're playing for the right reasons. And I think that's what helped us kind of just pick right back up even after a loss.
One of those parts of being such a strong team and probably adds to having such a long season, on top of balancing their college classes and their practices and their game schedule, your team also is really active in volunteering with one of the local upward basketball programs, which is for kindergarten up to eighth grade. And your players were out there on that court working with these younger kids. How does that experience of giving back help change the dynamic?
Yeah, well, first of all, we love working with Upward. We've done it for a couple years now, where our guys when we're here over winter break practicing and playing games and not involved in the classes, we go over in the evenings and work with the teams for a week and practice, and then go over for one of those Saturdays and are there for the day to, I guess some of our guys referee sometimes, some of them do the scores table or the announcing. We've had guys give the devotional during the day. So it's a good way for our guys to give back to the community. And what is a lot of fun then is to see the Upward teams come to our game. And so it's a mutual relationship where we love having them over here in the Anderson Center to watch our games and hang out with our guys, but also our guys going over there and giving back and helping the kids. And it's funny every year as we're organizing the nights and who's going to go what night that you usually have some of the guys, oh man, I've kind of had plans tonight or something, but they all come back loving the experience and talking about how much fun it was. And even at the end of the year, they talk about the week at Upward. And so giving back to the community is a big part of what we do.
It sounds like another way to keep the fun in basketball. They're working hard on their own team, but then they also get to go and just joke around with kids and remember what it was like to be that age again.
Oh, absolutely. They all got their start somewhere in a league like that. And so we're working with those kids. And I also think they probably like the feeling of, wow, here's all these kids looking up to us. It gives them a good feeling of uh, being somebody that being looked up to. And so it's pretty neat.
Hmm. And so you also mentioned kind of having those kids come to the games and be in the audience. You guys also have a lot of other supporters in the audience. You've had the band and the cheerleaders dance team, and then also your local community of your students and your staff. What's it like having everybody cheering you guys on, especially in a successful season like that?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And certainly towards the end of the season, as the crowd began to grow and there were more and more new faces in the stands, um, families from the community, just from Fredericksburg in general or Stafford, that started coming to our games, that maybe we hadn't seen before. It was a lot of fun. Then it culminated in the NCAA tournament when we were hosting some of the games in the first rounds. And we had standing room only in our last home game where there were literally students up around the walkway up top, hanging over the ledge to get in to watch the game. And so it meant everything to our guys to know that we were supported like that. Even as we traveled out to Indiana, we had two
Mhm.
student buses go out to Indianapolis. And our student section out there was just as strong. Um, having our pep band, which is newer to us over the last couple of years, and that's a great addition to a home game. And now they've added the pep dance team, which was new this year. Again, adding a new kind of a new flavor to the entertainment during the game, which is a lot of fun to have.
Great. So let's, I mean, you just mentioned that final championship game in Indianapolis. Take me to the moment when that buzzer rang and you realized you did it.
Yeah, it took me a second. It took it a second to set in because it was that last second shot, and so I was excited, but also it was, did it go in? Did it count? Are we won, right? We're good. I can celebrate, right? And then as it set in, it just, there's a picture, and I talked about this before with some other people, but there's a picture that somebody took of that moment when the final buzzer goes and our team is rushing off the bench and the smiles on our guys' faces are so genuine and just authentic and it's pure joy on the looks on their faces and it just for me like that's everything and so yeah it was just a great moment for our team, our program, our university, really for Fredericksburg. It was just a big moment for everybody, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it.
Now we have to mention you have been named the Division III National Coach of the Year. What did that mean to you?
Well, it's a great honor. There's a lot of people that have played a role in me being able to at least have my name on that award. But it's a big honor. I'm very thankful, humbled by it. There's you know, our coaching staff works really hard what we do every day. Our players listen and buy in. Again, that's such a big part of it. If we didn't have all the moving parts, then awards like that aren't possible, and that's not lost on me. I understand that, and but yes, I mean, I think it is, it's satisfying knowing, hey, the work that we have put in this year has been recognized and, by other people in the profession. It's certainly not something I had expected. I was really surprised when that was announced. It's not really why I do it, but it's a nice recognition anyway. So.
Well, let's ask about that. Why? What is the journey that led you to coaching college basketball?
Yeah, it's funny. I came home one summer in college and just started working camps like my old from my, with my oh at my high school I went to with my coach and I worked a summer camp for the little kids and just it was the teaching of it and the being around it that I just really fell in love with. And so I went that was kind of what sparked it. I went back, changed my major, thinking like, okay, what would I teach? So I changed my major to history, thinking I would teach history and coach high school basketball at home. And fortunately, I got into the college ranks and was able to stay. As that was my goal and my dream at the time. And so I'm glad that it has worked out this way. But it was really those initial summers of working camps. And then after that, I traveled around working college camps as I was finishing up college and trying to build my network and getting to know college coaches. And it was just the teaching aspect of it. And I also love to compete. And so for me, being able to compete, um, continue while I certainly couldn't play anymore. It gives me
Vicariously, you're doing it vicariously.
yeah, vicariously through the guy. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can tell them all the great stories and embellish in all of it. It's given me the opportunity to compete and teach a sport that I love.
You know, it's interesting too, is you may be creating the next generation of this by having a team that's actively involved in essentially a youth camp, a youth basketball league. You may be putting the next future of the coach of the year out there.
Oh, I hope so. I find it to be so. I love it when some of our former players come back and ask, "Hey, coach, how do I get into coaching? I want to become a coach." And it was my coaches that inspired me to want to get into this. So if I could ever have that effect on any of our guys, it would mean a lot.
Is there any like a specific core principle that helps guide the way you coach your players?
Ooh, yeah, I would say it's the discipline from everybody. It's being disciplined in um, what we do as coaches every day and the way we go about preparing our team, even just for practice each day. Not looking for shortcuts. And I think that our players have to do the same thing, right? They have to be disciplined in their training, their weightlifting, disciplined in the way they show up every day to practice and compete. And um, I hope that I can instill that in our guys. I try to anyway. And I think that, this year, I think what made so rewarding is we really stayed true to who we were from September until April. And that's hard to do with 18 to 22-year-old college guys. That's hard to do, but we were able to do it. So,
You think about years from now, when these players on this team look back at this season, this championship season, what do you hope they remember the most?
oh, the fun of the overall experience, right? We this year especially, like we went out to San Antonio right before Christmas to play in a tournament. So we got to spend a lot of quality time together as a team. And it was the first time the majority, if not everybody, had been to the Riverwalk in San Antonio. And so it was a lot of firsts. And then we went to Santa Cruz for our conference tournament out in California. So we spent a week in Santa Cruz. Again, a first for the majority of our team of being in California or San Francisco. And we did it together. And then the NCAA tournament games and our runs, it was our first time hosting games. We did that together, obviously, then traveling to Indiana and the championship, just a lot of firsts that we got to experience together. And I hope when they look back on it all, they remember that as such a positive for their overall experience here at Mary Washington.
Well, Coach, I want to congratulate you on having such an incredible season, a historic championship run, and of course, for being recognized as the National Coach of the Year. But thank you for taking the time to talk to me. For our viewers, I'm Kelly Sienkowski, the regional editor of the Potomac Local News. We were talking to the Division III National Coach of the Year, Coach Kahn from Mary Washington, who was the coach of the University of Mary Washington championship winning men's basketball team. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day.